Hello, friends of Golf Course Quality Fertilizer. I want to talk about some situations that we're going to be up against here pretty soon. We had a lot of rain for like 3 weeks. The last rain was Friday, and here we are on Monday, and we haven't had rain this weekend. It looks like we're not going to have rain for a while, which is actually a good thing. Like I always tell people, it's easier to maintain a dry lawn than a wet disease lawn, and Mother Nature pretty much gave us a wet disease lawn. Uh, by raining for like 3 weeks. We had a small period in the middle where I thought, oh, it's going to calm down, and then boom, we got all that rain again. So we got like 10 inches over that last 3 weeks. That's going to do a couple things to us. For one, it's got a lot of moisture that's hanging out down in the turf canopy, and also if you've noticed, the grass has been growing like crazy. I mean, I've been mowing every 3 days, and it still feels like I'm not mowing fast enough. And so things like that happen. It starts to mess with our grass a little bit in the inside of it. We got a lot of brown stuff, and mine's actually looking a little better than it did earlier, like on Saturday and Sunday. It's already starting to freshen up a little bit, but we've been picking up our mowing quite often in order to keep up with that. And what mowing also does, not only does it cut it, and things like that, but it also kind of gets air worked down in that canopy a little bit and lets some sunlight and dries that surface out, because we want dry grass blades, because otherwise we start getting diseases. And we did get some diseases. We have a little bit of dollar spot down in this area here. It's not bad because I fertilized like right in the middle of those rains. Most people who did it before all the rains, they're probably maybe getting a little worse. And this is a low nitrogen disease. Now, it's not necessarily because I'm in low nitrogen, but the pressures were so high that it started popping out. Now, if I didn't have fertilizer down, it'd be a whole lot worse, right? And this is just where it's been cut off. And that's how you know that it's running pretty fast, because you see most of the lesions are growing up and getting cut off. Like right here is one that's a full lesion. And see, what it looks like is it's bleached white. So you look for that white color, not the golden color that you see with Pythium, and we've been seeing a lot of that as well. But then also on the ends of the whites, there's a little brown line. This one's not as significant as most are, but there's a little brown margin on both sides, and that's called dollar spot. And so if you really start to see that stuff firing up on you, then you'll want to put down like an organic fertilizer. Or if we're kind of like maybe second week into August, you might take that September 1st app and go ahead and back it up and put it down if the weather will allow you to do so, meaning that it's going to be lower than 85 degrees and you have the ability to water it in as well. You can help push past that. And so most of this stuff is all cosmetic. It's not carpet, it's a living organism. It's going to have ugly times, especially cool season grass during summer times, weird ones like really wet ones, which that's what we're having. In the beginning, I was really happy because I was like, oh, we're going to be kind of dry this year. And I was like, ooh, lots of rain, good, we're going to kind of flush that system. And then it just kept raining. And so I think things are going to be really good, but we're going to have to watch when we turn that irrigation back on. Make sure you're staying nice and steady. We haven't watered yet at all. We've only watered 3 times so far this year. And so I try to live on the dry side. For one, it slows my growth down, so I'm not mowing so often, right? It maintains my fertilizer for a lot longer, and I get a lot less diseases in it. So I just like living on the dry side. Even if I have some areas that kind of went a little too far, I know that if I keep on a watering program, they're gonna come back in a couple weeks or even less if I get right on it. So deep and infrequent watering, that's really important right now. Try to pick up your mowing events like every 3 days. We're going to try to start mowing every other day, trying to keep up with all the clippings, because we don't collect our clippings at all. So all our clippings are getting worked in, right? And so think about those type of things. Another thing I've been seeing too is Pythium. And so it's kind of like a more golden look to it. The grass will lay down, even really thin out. When you're seeing disease areas of any nature, really, go out there and get a rake and kind of just fluff that area up, and do it as soon as you can, as soon as you see those areas. Because if you do that, you're going to get air and sunlight, and it's going to dry that area out, and it's going to recover or save as much of that grass as you can. Also, if we do get another rain event, it'll just fire right back up in that area if you don't get it fluffed up and start trying to kill those spores in there. So do those kind of things to help get through this tough time of the season. And we'll have some areas too that have had water for so long, they're kind of yellow looking, the grass is. That's because they've been staying saturated for so long. go find you a little stake like this, right? And like poke some holes in that area. Try to get some air down there. Don't core aerify it, that'll be too much. But you can kind of spike the area a little bit. That might help relieve that. And just really be careful on trying to water that area. It's not because it's not getting enough nutrients, it's because it's so saturated, it doesn't do gas exchanges in the roots in order to absorb nutrients. And that's why it gets this yellow look to it, right? And so also it'll take a couple weeks for that to kind of work back into a normal system where it's starting to turn green again, a darker green, be able to pull in nutrients. Doing things like that will help speed it up a little bit, but you got to be careful because then it can go too dry and then you're kind of on that limbo. So just be real careful. If you got any questions about how to water or how to get through this, or if you need an organic fertilizer to help you, start getting rid of some of these diseases that are going to be coming here soon. With all that rain, it really washed a lot of fertilizer fast. So I would expect diseases unless you're going to do a real lot of mowing, a lot of raking and keeping that surface, blowing even sometimes to keep that surface dry. We will be getting some diseases here soon. So, take those tips and have a good summer, and hopefully we'll get out of this little tough stage here real soon. Thanks.